Welcome back. TMA presented by Brown and Crouppen, Michelob Ultra Studios. Welcome in, friends. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Sullivan Vaughn, Ken Strode now off camera, but in the studio.
It's a good thing, though. Pretty lady there and give me my face.
And we're underway.
Haven't been on for 5 seconds and
we're
already have my
underway.
first compliment.
She was worried about the listener being creepy.
Thank you.
Right here.
Jackson's in the Horton Watkins Studios, and with us here in studio, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carrie Grimmer. Carrie, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome in. How do you feel about being here? Tell me about it. What's
I'm
going
a
through your
little
mind
sweaty
right
already.
now? Are you really?
Why are you sweaty?
Well, I've listened to the show. I know how this can go.
Well, ours has always been the type of show where friends feel they can drop in at any time.
Right.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly
So
what
you're
I
a friend
said.
and you're dropping
right.
in.
Right.
So the backstory is Carrie and her husband, Kurt, came in and did a SoundStory 2 weeks ago today, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. It was the day
I think
before
so.
Thanksgiving. And told your story and gave us permission to post it. It's one of the first video, not one of the first, but first video interviews we've posted. And your story is certainly, it's. I would describe it as inspiring, but I don't know if that's necessarily how you would describe, because probably one doesn't see themselves as inspiring.
I'm so inspired.
Yeah.
And I think that it can create a little bit of pressure, right? Of like, oh, I've got to always bring my A game, or this is a situation that's completely out of my control, but I'm trying to use it as much for good, and especially for my twin boys who are almost 9. So it's a huge compliment. It's a huge compliment.
So for
sure.
those who didn't get a chance to watch the SoundStory, which is on the SoundStory YouTube channel, give whatever detail you would like to give about your background, and then you will understand, I think, as we talk with Carrie, why so many people were inspired who did get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, so Kurt had the idea. He's been a long time fan of the show, and so had heard about SoundStory, and then because of my journey, just thought it was a really great opportunity for us to have something that that my boys can have, and my family can have for forever. And so he got it for me for Christmas last year, and then I was just kind of nervous, hadn't gotten it scheduled, and then thought, okay, we're going to be in town, let's get this scheduled. And yeah, it was just an opportunity for me to talk about some things in my life that maybe don't come up just in a normal conversation, or just for my boys to be able to hear my voice, see my face, and learn more things about me. I think you've even mentioned it before, like just getting in your car and you can listen to your mom's voice or your grandpa's voice. And so it was just a really great opportunity, and so easy too. You just come in and, like you said, it's just kind of having a conversation, and then it's all completely done for you. And because of my story, so I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and it's terminal, it's uncurable. And so just a complete perspective change. It changes everything on how you look at life. I think it puts a spotlight on every moment of every day, and has allowed my family definitely some blessings through it. I mean, I would change it in a heartbeat, obviously. And I don't want it to make it sound like every day is a great day, because it's for sure not. Obviously battling this disease is a huge challenge, and there's some really down days. But overall, it's like, shed that spotlight on what's important, what I'm going to say yes to, what I'm saying no to, and just put our priorities in a different manner than it was before.
So your story, which you are comfortable talking about, and I think that is one of the reasons why people, Carrie, find your manner with which you're handling this
Thank
so
you.
inspiring, is you were diagnosed with what turned out to be
crazy.
I mean, this is nuts. I never heard. I didn't know this was possible. Actually, I guess medically anything's possible. But 2 forms of breast cancer in your body simultaneously, and non-Hodgkin's
lymphoma.
In
About 8 years ago.
Okay, all right.
Really, my only signs were fatigue, and I had twin boys that were like 13 months old. So we were just like in survival mode. And I went to my annual appointment, which I was going to cancel, and so that's a big thing that I promote, is going to your annual exams.
And did you have any symptoms outside of the fatigue?
Zero symptoms, and my blood work all came back normal.
God, that's
which is also
so
insane.
Scary.
That appointment, I mean, honestly saved my life. He found a small lump and didn't think it was anything, but then was like, well, let's do our due diligence, obviously, and then that turned out to be breast cancer. And it's like who I was pre-cancer and, who I am post-cancer, I mean, I'll never forget that phone call. I mean, I was out with my parents and got the phone call, and I was out because I didn't think it was going to be anything. I have no family history. I had no other signs. I just thought this was just, another, just steps I had to go through, and then to get the call and then to hear him say, you've got cancer. And in that moment, like, everything changed. And I think I mentioned this on my SoundStory. It's like that buzzing in my ear. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's just, cancer's on my mind every second of every day, and it immediately started that way. And then obviously it changes the trajectory of your life. Decided to get a double mastectomy, and so glad that I did, because they found another tumor that didn't even show up in the ultrasounds, and it was a second type of breast cancer, and then the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was just a crazy, I often say, like, this whole story, the things that happened kind of in these couple of years has it's like a lifetime movie, It doesn't seem, if I wasn't living it, I'd be like, is that really all happening?
And you are the one living something that strikes people, I'm sure, is like, one form of breast cancer, devastating, two concurrently, and then non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Right.
But you beat them.
You beat them, yep. And at the time, like, that was not even an option not to. So, I mean, I don't even remember.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I just was like, of course I was going to beat it. It just never even entered my mind that this wouldn't end well. So, I mean, especially looking back now, it was just like, we have to go through these, these really hard treatments, and we're going to get through it, and then we're going to come out on the other side. So, there wasn't another option. At least in my head.
Sure, and that's understandable. Probably also a motherly instinct with 13-month-old twins.
And I'm sure, like, it's just a defense mechanism, right?
Yeah.
You have to somehow guard yourself, and it's such a situation that's completely out of your control. But what you can control is the treatments and the doctor's appointments, and so I just focused on that.
So then, about 5 or 6 years later?
Yeah, right. So the first 5 years has the highest rate of reoccurrence, and so I was just about at that end of my 5 years, and started having some muscle pain that was just kind of odd and severe. And
where was the?
On my right side, my right hip, and in my back.
And it was noticeably pain?
It was noticeably,
that was noticeable, okay.
Yes. Of course, I waited as long as possible because he just didn't. I didn't think it was cancer, but I knew something was going on. But unfortunately, I went in and got scans, and the breast cancer has moved. And so, it's on my hips, it's down my spine, in my liver, it's on my cranium. So,
to look at you, it looks like you haven't been sick a day in your life.
Well, you should have seen me before then, Doug. I mean, if you think I look good now.
Do you feel okay, or you feel bad?
Today is a great day. I was super excited. Like, this is so fun for me to do. There'll be days when I go home and that I'll have to, I'm down and out. Yeah, I always want to highlight that. Like, people see, especially like on social media, I'm doing these amazing things in my life, but, I'm not posting, when I'm so fatigued that I'm in bed for 2 days, or, the nausea hits, or I'm at the hospital, receiving chemo, right now I'm just taking oral chemo. And so it's not as hard on the body. So I'll do chemo until the end of my time. And so they try to wait to do like the port chemo, kind of what everybody, knows of, where you lose your hair, which I did, several years ago, but they kind of keep that to the last end stages. So for the most part, I'm very lucky. I am able to stay at home, and I know how lucky I am to be able to do that, so that I can like rest when I need to rest and really show up for my boys and my family. But there are times that I just can't do it. I just So I appreciate the compliment, but it's always like one day at a time. So honestly,
I think to highlight, like hold it up for you, why people would find you inspiring is because here you are just telling, the people listening to this show that you consider yourself lucky about 5 minutes after you told them that you have terminal cancer.
Right. Well,
and have the attitude that you have.
I mean, I've always been a positive person, I think. Everybody going through this, like no judgment zone on how people handle, something, as you're walking through this. But it's just, I'm like, what other, the other option is just to wallow in it. And what's good is that going to do for anybody? And not to say that I don't have hard days or that I don't, sit in that for a little bit, because I also think that's really healthy and you need to process that too. But know that, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Do I need to define what that is, Iggy?
Wow.
I'm kidding.
Carrie came loaded for bear, Doug.
I'm kidding. I say that with love. I say that with love. I guess I'm trying to lighten the situation.
Was that a cuck?
This is
I see it coming.
I say that. I say that with love, but this is such a I don't want my segment here to be such a downer, but I just think that you have to make a choice every day to find
I think
joy.
I think the thing about you is, the story is certainly a downer.
Yeah.
But the way you're handling it is the inspiring part, and that's why, here, full transparency. I knew I was interviewing you.
Yeah.
I see what the story is.
Yeah.
I know you're doing it let's call it what it is, to leave it for your twin 8-year-olds.
Right.
I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always, and I think you probably feel the same way, Doug, for lack of a better term, feel pressure, not like intense pressure, but when we're doing a sound story versus doing this show or balloon party, because you're going to be heard by people's families years from now, so you want to make sure you come through.
Right.
But your situation not only was like, oh man, this is so sad, but I'm preparing myself, like I'm going to be bawling the whole time. That's what I was thinking. And then you're so damn good and inspiring that I'm like, I got done and I texted my wife and I go, what incredible perspective it gave me, much less the perspective you have, which was why when I was texting or DMing with your husband, I'm like, I would love to have her in, because I realize not everybody's going to go and watch the sound story.
Right.
But a lot of people will hear about this when we have her on TMA. And I think at this time of year, it's your story, while incredibly sad, and there's no way to color it otherwise, the way you're handling it is so impressive, inspiring, empowering. And that's what I wanted our audience to hear.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. And I think, we talk often with the boys of, we are Christians, and that's a big part of our foundation for our family. But, why is this thing happening? Because we talk very openly through counseling and all of that with our children, so they understand what's going on. But why would this happen, right? And so we don't know. I'm not being punished, by any means, but how can we use this for good? And so it just means a lot that I can have this, platform here today. Like, not that, I hope nobody has to walk through the same thing that I'm walking through, but, everybody has valleys and hardships and all of that. And I think I think the message that I would love to kind of leave is that you can still find joy. It can still be really hard, and we can still be mad and really sad, but we can still find joy, and we can move forward, and we can try to turn it into something good, like a good message.
How are you handling this with your now 8-year-old, soon to be 9-year-old twin boys?
Yeah. So we have a really amazing group of people around us, and soon as I'm task oriented, so as soon as we got the diagnosis, I was like, okay, what counseling can we get in? What kind of support? And so we talk openly that this cancer, because other people around us have cancer too, and theirs gets better, but mom's doesn't, and why is that happening? And so we just say that my cancer cells are just so strong, and that I'm fighting every day, and but eventually, like, they're going to just overtake, and probably, I'll go to heaven prior than what I thought, and that I'm going to fight as long as that I can, and we're going to do all the things as much as we can, but at the end of the day, I probably won't be here for their weddings, and that's what breaks my heart. Their weddings and them having babies, and sending them off to college. Those are things that when Kurt and we had a really hard time getting pregnant, and those were the things that we've looked forward to, we've saved for, we've planned for, and so. Yeah, we just talk often that I'm always going to be with them, but it just might not be here in person. And they can talk openly about it. There's times when I'm sitting out or doing different things, and a friend will say, "Oh, well, why doesn't your mom come?" And they can absolutely say, she's got stage 4 cancer, and today she's not feeling great, but tomorrow she'll be better. Yeah. And so we talk openly about that. Of I would love for a while I would get frustrated at them. just to myself, like, oh, they're not understanding. But I mean, they're little, and so, but I changed the narrative of saying, like, I wish I could go. I'm mad too that I can't be at your hockey game today. I am so disappointed that I can't, go down that slide because it's just going to make me hurt for 3 days, and that's really changed the way that they've looked at it too. It's like, oh, I'm mad and I'm sad too that she can't be there, but she is too. It's so something that we talk openly about.
I bet you have been able to do some things though to check off your bucket list.
Oh man. I mean, even just little things, my girlfriends got together about a month ago. I call them my St. Louis girlfriends, but now we're all spread out. And like we did, we just went away for the weekend to the Lake of the Ozarks, and like we did old time photos, right? Like it's just like something little, but it was like we
in
had a
saloon,
blast. Yeah.
Black and white saloon
Yeah,
picture.
absolutely, which I'm going to get some flack of, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, I think I just take everything it's just so much more important to me. I want to do all the trips. I'm going to say yes to all the things. I'm going to try to go down those water slides where before maybe I would have just been like, I'll just watch you. No, I'm going to be really present. And my friend Annie has said this often, and it rings true. I'm trying to be more present where my feet are, not always thinking about the next thing or taking care of something or whatever, but actually be present where my feet are. And that's a game changer. I can see the difference in my children. I can see the difference in my marriage. I can see the difference in my friendships of that, like I'm showing up and I'm being really present. I mean, I think I hope I always have been, but definitely for sure, I'm saying yes to as many things as I can. We want to go on all the trips. The joke is that, we're taking these bucket list trips and watch. I'm going to be around now for 10 years. And Kurt's going to be like, we're freaking broke now. Like, great that you're here, but like you weren't supposed to be. And now we're completely broke. But,
and that's how couples get in the cuckold scene.
Right.
That is how it happens?
That's exactly how it happens.
That's the origin of
One
the
of many
cuck?
Especially in Wisconsin.
That's
in
our
Wisconsin,
backup plan.
yes.
That's our backup plan, Doug.
The origin of the cuck in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I've heard the same story 100 times.
I think Herb Kohler started it back in the day.
Herb Kohler? Who's that? From the...
Kohler, Wisconsin.
Is that right? Wow, Doug.
I mean, don't hold me to that. I'm just having fun.
We don't hold you to a lot of things, Iggy, I don't think. But
I don't want to be sued by Herb.
Right.
The listeners, Doug, it's one of the only times I've gone into the EDF group text inbox, and it's full of compliments.
Oh, wow. I was like, that's what I'm most, the sweatiest about. Like, people are going to be like, get her off. Like, let's go back to our normally scheduled programming.
Even from the recovering alcoholic. What a warrior.
Wow.
God bless you and your family. This lady is inspirational and tougher than a nickel steak. That's from DJ Jazzy Jeff and Albert Pujols. Carrie, be nice to Iggy. You're supposed to get Kurt and I assigned glossy of him. That's from Gary Pinkel's cell phone etiquette. I guess you know Gary Pinkel's cell phone etiquette.
I do. I'm telling you, people were so excited. I think you don't realize, like, the people, and I think, Iggy, you've said it well. So I'll give you a compliment of, like, the listenership are really, like, 99.9% are just really amazing
They
people.
absolutely
and
are. That is
super kind and generous.
100%.
And all of that. But it wouldn't be fun without some of those, you know.
Yeah, it's all in fun.
Yeah.
So
Is it?
just
Because
take it
sometimes
all
I
for
feel like you really
it is
heart.
99.9%
Yeah.
all in fun. There is 0.1% where you're going, oh, that's
too
but
far.
you also, when you're seeing it, kind of like you see the perspective, like your perspective that you're sharing here, our perspective on being on this side of it. You recognize that if somebody's really upset in a text inbox, not just on this show or any show, they're probably dealing with something themselves.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so
we don't
I'm not
know
really
anybody's
angry
story.
about
Right.
it. You don't necessarily want to engage with it, but you know that there's something going on there, and you just kind of go, whatever. But it comes with, you get perspective from dealing with it. Larry Thornton says, this is the furthest thing from a downer. Most motivational thing I'll hear all year. Sometimes you need perspective, and to feel grateful, this does that. That's from Larry
amazing.
Thornton.
Well, thank you, Larry.
And I'll sign a glossy for you.
Okay, great.
What a gesture.
That's really what this is all about, isn't it?
Charge me.
We could have just mailed it to you and saved you the trip.
No, I hope Jesse has some because I don't have any with me.
You get an invoice about 10 to 14 days.
Such a demand.
Right.
Hard to keep them in stock.
Gentleman by the name of Johnny Johnson. Iggy worked with him, I believe, in Springfield. He's texting and he says, Carrie, this personifies the Tim McGraw song, Live Like You Were Dying. God bless you and your family. I'm sure you have, of course, I would imagine anyway, heard about that
Yes,
song and,
yes.
and heard reference to it. And when you were talking, obviously that resonated with the audience. So are you familiar with the Curb Your Enthusiasm? Are you familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm in general?
No.
No? Okay, really?
No.
All right. So there is an episode, I think in the most recent season, where they talk about the stage 4 cancer perspective.
Oh.
That, I mean, it's done, in the way that show is in a satirical manner, but they know that there is truth to it, that people get a perspective, like a Buddha-like wisdom.
Yeah.
Once you are,
Yeah.
so I mean, from that, you kind of talk about the live like you were dying thing in a way, but what else can you share from that perspective?
I think, I don't know how to call it other than like a blessing of like, I mean, obviously none of us know when we're gonna die, but I have a little bit more of a solidified kind of path, and so there'll be days where I'm like, I feel like I'm running out of time, even though I health wise I'm doing okay, I feel like I'm running out of time, but then other days it's like I love that I know that it's kind of this set path, and I know that it's going to be shorter because it forces me a little bit out of my comfort zone. Would I have gone on this show prior? I don't know, but it's like, of course I'm going to go. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? Of course I'm going to try those things, and but I think the biggest piece of wisdom is that I'm telling people more about what I'm truly feeling. Like, you did, I'm just like offering compliments more, or just telling them how I feel about them. I'm showing up in more ways than I ever did before. But really, it's just that taking the time to say, hey, that was awesome, or that really like filled my cup up, or that, I think people just don't do that as often. And it's not always compliments.
Wouldn't it be great if they did, even if they weren't on a shortened timeline, if people had that kind of mindset all the time, how much better the world would be. Right,
but I'm just, I'm definitely making sure that when I'm talking to people that I'm much more engaged, and then also like really expressing just how I'm feeling in that moment, and just being a little bit more transparent, which I think a lot of us, in this world could use a little bit more, just like real transparency.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's, I mean, the response to this, I just went into the YouTube chat. Holy crap. People are really, again, I keep using the word inspiring. I feel like I need to find another word. But people were really, I guess, impressed and grateful for you sharing your story, for lack of a better term.
And I think in these instances, right, like I'm coming on to like hopefully, possibly inspire somebody and share my story. But at the end of this, like when I leave, like my cup's going to be so full. I that's what I found in so much of these instances where I'm asked to do something, or I walk away feeling so much better about myself too. Than I came on here to share the story, but at the end of the day, I'm going to feel so great that I reached somebody.
And you got the Iggy.
I'm rubbing shoulders with Iggy. I mean, it doesn't get much better.
Red letter day all the way around.
If I could put my fingers through Doug's hair.
Do you see what is it, Doug?
Really
is it tufts
good.
of wisps?
It really does.
Yeah.
It does.
Wispy McTufterson.
That's what they're calling him now.
Right. Yeah, I could see it. No, it does look really good.
Well, it's coming in. They do good work at St. Louis Hair Restoration.
Well, do they ever? I'm thinking, I think that's, it's amazing, because it was, 5 months ago? Yeah, 5 months and change.
About that, 5.5 months.
And it's going to get even better. Carrie, it's going to get even better. Can you imagine it getting better?
It's hard to get better looking. The hair might get better.
That's the big thing.
The little blonde highlights on the side.
Oh, you get highlights?
Hits off of
Tribute to the 2000 Cardinals.
Nice.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, you can run your fingers through them if you
like. Oh, my God.
Wow.
You can even pull it to see that it's real.
How about that? What a treat. So you told a number of your friends in Wisconsin who probably
there's a lot of people on. I know. Everyone's
aren't really familiar with this operation. Certainly now have to be impressed, though.
I know. I said, just listen with a grain of salt. I don't know where this could lead to. So I was like, it's a sports show, but not really. And it's a little raunchier than maybe what you would imagine me being on.
Well, it's HD2. It's the big leagues.
Would you like to take shots at anybody? That's kind of what everyone else does when they come in here.
Yeah.
No, I like I said, my husband and his guy friends were super excited, and I was like, that almost felt like a little bit of pressure. I got to bring my A game.
Oh, to this show?
Yeah, exactly. We don't even know what an A game is.
I know. I loved how you guys started the show this morning. You're like, you got nothing. I was like, I thought maybe that you'd have something set up. No, you just.
No, that hasn't happened. We feel like it's like a no-hitter. We don't want to change what we've been throwing for 20 years. I don't know if you're interested in this, but Big Pick Energy says, I'll fill her cup up. So here we go, Doug.
Stop it.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mean, part of me would be so proud if somebody, got in the in your log, Doug.
Oh, the suspension log. You know, it actually exists. It's sitting right there, Carrie.
If I need to.
Yeah, well, they're there. Somebody wanted to know, I got to scroll down there, if there was any tribbing on your girls' trip where you got the old-time photos.
Here we go.
Yep, Doug, now they're freed up.
Now we got down to business. We got the first 20 minutes or so out of the way.
Right.
Now we're getting down to business.
Yep.
No tribbing. I hate to disappoint your fans, but no tribbing. No. I know, and I think my husband said something that that I'm down to. I'm just for the record, I'm not sporting AF for sure. Not. So I just I think
I was led to believe to encourage that, and I'm like. Boy, what a spot this is going to be.
Right.
You know,
this could go one of two ways.
I've got to make sure I tell your story, but then go. So, you ever hook up with a woman?
No. I mean,
exactly.
I hate to disappoint people, but that's not my area. At all. I mean, but for everybody else, great.
Yeah,
great for you.
Yeah. Sure.
Great for you.
Well, some people like things and some people don't like other things.
That's right.
Deke Dotem is Doug's favorite texter into the show, and he just sent in a text question for you, Carrie. Do you think my wife's father would prefer a ribbed attachment or a pulsating one for his new gas-powered Sibian?
Okay, that's enough.
He has a gas-powered Sibian?
We don't permit those.
Is that right?
No.
That surprises me.
No, we do not.
So you take like
out of bounds.
With a lawnmower, you would pour the gasoline into
don't even
that's
want
what
to
you do with
think
a
about it.
Sibian?
Deke Dotem just got himself suspended again. He got himself suspended a period of 2 days' time plus indefinitely suspended already.
Now your Wisconsin friends are really, really excited now.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be
Definitely
probably Googling some of these things.
Yeah, that'll be. Hey, maybe not want to do that at work.
Maybe then some of their ads like you had pop up. I don't know where they came from.
Oh, the lady boys.
Yeah. I didn't want to really say that word, so thank you for doing that
for me. I'm happy to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
I
here
have no
for.
idea where they came from.
I don't. They're just there, and I'll take a look.
Sure, it happens. These things happen.
I can assure you that they do not pop up for me.
He was scrolling for a Bible verse or something, and it popped Ladyboy.
So now, I want you. Now you get to see. You see Doug's suspension logule. Now you get to see behind the scenes in the EDF group text inbox. I mean, only a chosen few get to see this.
Wow.
So you can see what a warrior. God bless you and your family.
Nice.
Carrie, you are such a gift. You have impacted more strangers than you know today. And then the next text is, hey, Carrie, want to come over from the same texter, Doug. Hey, Carrie, want to come over and watch Tim and Wellington run a train on my wife.
What?
So it just, they just change. So,
Recovering alcoholic
so he's
from
gone
Belleville.
now.
Right. He's gone.
Doug, you're protecting me. I appreciate that.
Well,
I'm doing the
it's
paperwork.
amazing how it just turns.
Yeah, it's insane that they can write those back to back.
What time
I don't know if that's a talent or a skill. I don't know what that is.
What time are you doing that? Because I'm supposed to have dinner with the guy tonight.
Oh, I don't know. Wellington's down in Jupiter, so it's probably
Those
next
lamb
week.
chops are calling your name.
Yep.
They are.
He is. He is.
Are you one to look at the menu beforehand? Or you just always
I
get the
pretty
lamb
much know
chops?
what's on there.
Oh, okay, because you
What
go
are you
all the
getting?
time.
Yeah, he's a regular there, Carrie.
Octopus and lamb chops.
Is that right? Nice.
But I think the lamb chops might be not all the time.
Oh, they don't offer them all the
It's a
time?
special when Iggy's rolling through.
Right.
Then I'll go with Dover sole.
That text inbox might have a nude dude coming up. Don't show her that. That's from Peg Diaz. Doug, that's another one of our female listeners, another one of our many female listeners. Do you realize you're like one of like 4 women who listen to this show?
I don't know if I should be embarrassed or proud, but
Humiliated.
Yeah. Right.
Let's see. What is...
I'm just always more impressed how you can read these with more of a straight face.
I'm the giggler on the show. These guys are the one who can stay straight, so to speak. Doug, again, double entendres.
Well, we're just so disappointed in the path our career is taking. It's hard to find any humor in it.
You've already seen more of the text inbox than I ever have.
Yeah, Iggy stays away from it. Plowhawk just recently in the last couple months went in. Are you glad that you go in there, or you kind of regret that you've opened it up?
I love it.
Yeah, because
makes me feel better about myself.
Right.
My favorite part of the Plowhawk with the text inbox is now sometimes he will respond to a texter without addressing it for the show, but I can see it, so I know what he's talking about, and he's kind of MFing a guy, and nobody else knows what he's talking about.
Like that's what the text line is made for, right? For us to they can vent, but we can also vent as well back to them. I think it works out well.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of time people spend.
Oh, I don't know if you really know that yet.
Well, I mean, you're getting to see how many come in.
On the text thread and the emails, I'm always impressed.
Well, none of them
I don't know if
working.
that's the word I'm going to use, but
Jobs or anything.
of what they write, the write-ups and
So
all of that.
I guess you're a third party, so to speak, to get to see how many have come in since, it's 8:57 and how many have come in the last 3 minutes. And there is a conspiracy theory from those who don't get a chance to see the EDF group text inbox that, we're just picking and choosing who gets read. I mean, plenty of, we have no idea who they are. Some of them are just phone numbers. Some request names, as you can see, there are names saved in there.
Right,
Some are just
right.
phone numbers, and you never know. And there's the Mark McGuire penis picture
Oh
for
my
Carrie.
God! Who sent it, Tim?
Ray King did.
Ray
Doug.
King.
And it's obviously
Suspended.
real, too. You can tell.
Oh, my
And he's
goodness.
been put on notice.
Now, what does that
He's
mean?
been put on notice and suspended for a period of 2 days' time, Ray King.
I think I'm getting flushed here.
Yep, there it is. Didn't expect that, I bet.
No, but...
And yet the thing is,
Did
for
I
us,
like
I've
it? I
seen
don't
Mark
know.
McGuire's penis so many times that I'm like, oh, there it is again.
How do you think he feels?
Is it really him? It's not him.
No.
I don't think he would have posed.
I
in the
doubt
photo.
it. I
Here
doubt
comes
it.
I shaved
If
my
I had
balls
to
for this,
guess,
Doug. He
if I
sent
had
in
to guess.
an erect gentleman on a road in the desert, so
Why
that's
would
in
they
there.
do
Now Carrie
these
is
things?
turning away from me.
Right, to make me feel like this.
Yeah.
It's working,
I'm
people.
so
It's
sorry.
working.
Let's see.
Lie down with dogs, you get fleas, I guess is what they say.
True. That's true. I was surprised, though, Iggy, that you were so taken back that Gigi wasn't real. Like, I would think after this whole situation here, just of all the names that
Yeah,
I just felt
but
so
it's a
bad
little
for
golf,
you.
It's a little golf game. You would think, who's going to be a guy on a golf game with a good-looking girl's picture on there? What do you get out of that?
Well, you were hoping something, but
Right.
nothing.
Yeah, but I figured it's got to be real.
Does it?
Come on.
Doug's disappointed.
I mean, I
in you.
should have known Gigi Oakforest.
Right.
That should have told me something.
Yeah, that would have been a
Nobody's
flag,
gonna
I
name like
think.
Oakforest.
Right. That would have been a flag.
It didn't cost me anything. So
Well, and you won $8, I heard.
Yeah,
so.
he did. He had a
Big
big
weekend
day,
for me,
big
yeah.
weekend. Another thing that goes on in the text inbox, and you're getting a chance to see that, is our listeners send a picture of themselves with their wives. We never understand why. This is a Father Brown Eye sending in a picture of himself with his wife. Are you a little
You're not supposed to be married if you're a priest.
I'm listening to 60 Minutes now.
No, that was from a couple days ago.
Oh, I'm like,
The picture is new. The picture is new, and it's Father Brown Eye, and his Doug here. He is.
Wow,
It's
that-
Father
Sure,
Brown Eye.
that's her. There she is again. Yep. That's her. They're all married to supermodels. Every one
It's
of our listeners.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
A lot of lucky guys out there.
Well,
for
not
sure.
lucky. They're studs.
And then I believe this is Lana Rhodes, Doug, when she allowed a strawberry to exit her
Oh!
and put it on top of a cupcake, which I didn't realize. And then there's a meme of Iggy, and it's liar, liar. And you see what comes in. This is what
Right,
goes on.
that's
This is what
unbelievable.
we see, me, Plowhawk,
I
and
feel
Jackson.
very honored that
Yeah,
you
you
would
get to
show
see
me
it.
that. Yeah.
So you can go out into the world and say, well, that text inbox is real.
It's a real thing. Yeah, this is not made up,
Yeah.
folks.
we'll give you the password. You can just go home and watch.
Yeah, just log in.
I'll pass.
Carrie, thank you so much for coming in.
This
I
is
knew
wonderful.
the audience would love you, and sure enough, they did. And I'm so glad that you came in.
Thank you.
so much.
This meant so much. I really do appreciate it.
There she is.
We love you
the
guys.
Great,
Thanks for
the
coming in,
absolute
Gal.
Wow,
great
clap. Thank you.
Carrie Grimmer
Safe
in
travels
studio
back
with us
to the
here.
Badger
Thank you.
State.
Yes.
Indeed, yeah,
Appreciate
back
it.
to Madison. That's Carrie Grimmer with us here on TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen. It's 9 o'clock in St. Louis. We'll take a break, come back with our 9 o'clock hour. This is TMA, presented by Brown and Crouppen from the Michelob Ultra Studio.